So I was thinking about doing a what I eat in a day for Ironman training video, but then I realized that's not actually the most important part of my nutrition protocol for Ironman. What is way more important than how I eat in a day and what I eat is... What is way more important than how I eat in a day and what I eat is how I stock the house with food. We are back from a Costco haul right now. Are you just saying hi in the background, Jack? Now, I am through 6 weeks of this 12-week build to Ironman World Champs, and 5 of those 6 weeks I have felt really strong all week long. In the 1 week that I did not feel very good, there were 2 huge mistakes that I made. One of them was that we did not do a big Costco grocery haul. I kind of did that thing where I go to the grocery store like 3 different times and kind of do like a quarter haul the whole time. My dinners throughout that week were okay, but we did not have the easy access food stocked in the house that I typically like to eat when I'm doing really big training. And so as a result, I found myself nibbling on like random things that we had in the cupboard. I'm eating some of Jack cereal. I'm having other types of food that I don't usually have. And it's just kind of throwing me off my game. The second mistake that I made that week was that I was really low on sleep all week long. There was one night that I stayed up till like 1 a.m. doing some writing stuff for my business. Got like 4 hours of sleep that night, and it pretty much threw off the entire rest of the week. And so when I think about Ironman recovery, yeah, we can do sauna. People talk about Normatec boots. We can do recovery rides, recovery swims. That stuff can help make the body feel good, but nothing is more important than nutrition, how much you're eating, and how much you are sleeping. Now, when I'm thinking about stocking the house with food, there are 2 main things that are top of mind for me. Really easy access to protein and really easy access to carbs. I really like grabbing a couple of rotisserie chickens. I will break these down and throw these into a Tupperware and then throw them in the fridge. And I'll just take that rotisserie chicken out and sear it up in a pan. We got some Enoch seasoning that I'll show you in a second. I'm also a huge fan of these Oikos 000 Greek yogurts from Costco. I will eat like 3 or 4 of these in one sitting and just scarf them down if I'm super hungry. They got good protein. They got some carbs in there as well. These are my main quick, easy access protein sources. We've also got the fridge stocked with grilled chicken for dinners throughout the week, and we've got a bunch of ground beef as well. But those are more like preparing meals and having dinners. This stuff is more about what I eat during the day. We've also got a bunch of eggs that I'll have for breakfast. Now, when I'm thinking about really easy access carbs, I've got some fruit options and then I've got some grain options. So my fruit options, bananas, easily. We've got blueberries and strawberries here as well. And then I'm a big fan of these frozen mangoes from Costco. I will just pop these things into a bowl and just eat them like popcorn. The grain-based carbs that I like to have, let's get these out. Boom. So I am big right now on Kodiak cakes and oats. And that week that I did not eat very well, we were out of both of these. So my go-to options were gone. We were low on fruit, and I was kind of a mess. So we got these restocked here from Costco. I've been doing some overnight oats in the fridge, as well as just making these. They take like 5 minutes in a pot. Super, super easy. Do you want to check? You want to say hi? Okay, say hi, video. Okay. Thank you, Jack, for monitoring. Jack, have we missed anything? I don't think so. Okay. Now, moving on to fats. So protein and carbs are my core focus, but I also want to make sure that I'm getting good fats. And right now, my fat sources are avocado, having some nut butter inside of my oats, and then I have been digging. This is like the best freaking granola that I've ever had in my life from Costco. Dangerously good. I have been putting this on top of some of the Oikos yogurts, And then I'm also a huge fan of these macadamia nuts from Costco. So if you are training for your first 70.3 or your first Ironman, I would encourage you to focus a lot more on having high quality food that's available and very quick and easy to eat, rather than stressing so much about your specific macros. As you get deeper into training, you will feel out your body as you start to push yourself, as you go through big sessions. What has been way more valuable is having really solid food that I can eat in like a minute. I don't want to spend a ton of time thinking about what I'm eating, so a lot of these meals are really consistent day by day. And I also don't want my meals to take me a lot of time. So you'll see things here, right? Like this rotisserie chicken just takes a couple minutes to heat up in a pan. The oikos, I can literally have 4 in like 60 seconds. All this other stuff, in and out, really, really quick. Moving on with my day, keeping up with my training, my business, my family, all these other needs, not pouring a ton of attention and emotional energy and decision making into food. This is an Ironman fridge.
Yummy, yummy, yummy in my tummy. Every bite is so lovely. Got this craving, can't ignore.
Boom. Here we go. All right, I gotta hook you guys up with my sleep protocol. So, number 1 sleep hack is to charge the phone outside of the bedroom. My phone gets charged on the kitchen table or the counter every night. I have found that if I got my phone charging next to my bed, I'm scrolling on it before I fall asleep, and that's taking away from my sleep, and it's fucking up my sleep. Now, that's point number 1. Now, I got 2 more tips here that have really helped out my sleep. Number 1, mouth tape. I just restocked on this mouth tape. I really like this blue. It's like medical tape, soft on my lips. I go single strip right across, horizontal. I told my mother-in-law that once, and she was like shocked. She thought I was like suffocating to death. Then I had her try it when she was here, and she was freaking amazed. I gave her a bonus that I'll give you in a second, but that's a bonus. I got one more stock standard thing, eye mask. If you are not on eye mask life, you are totally missing out. Black it out, tape the mouth, nasal breathing. This is how you sleep deep and sleep well. The last bonus hack that I'll give you are these Breathe Right strips. I've been wearing these in a couple of the videos. If you got the mouth tape and you got the nasal strip and you got the eye mask and the phone is charged outside of the bedroom and you get yourself in bed before 9:30, 9:30 is like the good number for me. Occasionally it's before 9 if I'm like wiped. If it's after 10, I'm like, mistake. Before 9:30. If you get all that cooking and you got the food system set up where you got easy access food, that is recovery for Ironman. Don't worry about all this nonsense on the sauna, the cold plunge, the recovery rides, the recovery swims. I like that stuff. I do. It makes me feel really good. But when we get into big training, big intervals, long rides, nothing makes a difference like this core nutrition and sleep stuff. Locked in. You got this. Come on. One of the best parts of efficient morning training is getting back and being able to spend the morning with Jack and handle wake up time. So Jack, we got sleep sack on. Mama's still sleeping. I just got back from swim, came in the door. I could tell the house was still quiet. I'm like, oh, Jack's still sleeping. And then I heard a little squeak from the back. And you were just waking up, huh? How did you sleep, Jack? How did you sleep, Jack? You want to tell us? How did you sleep?
Quiet.
You slept quiet. That's great. That's great. You want to go get the chickens out?
Yeah.
Should we go let the chickens out? Should we let the chickens out? Okay, let's go let the chickens out. Oh, here come the chickens. Say hi, chickens. Yep. Okay, tap. Very good. Shake. Great. Okay. High five. All right, now one biggest challenges of Ironman training is the significant time. And for somebody who wants to be involved and present for their family, they want to succeed at work, like how do you make all of this happen? What I have found, as I've got my own business, I want to be around for my family, but I've also got like big personal goals. Like, how do you make this whole thing work? A huge hack that I have found is quick transitions. Going right from one thing into the next and not having 15, 20, 30 minutes of dead time in between all the different things that I have going on. This morning is a really good example of that. I woke up and was out the door within 10 minutes to go to my swim. I was running a little bit late this morning, but I still was like, I gotta get this swim in. I am getting out the door as soon as possible. Swim 6 to 7, get home by about 7:10, and within 60 seconds, I'm getting Jack up and I'm jumping right into dad duty. So to me, that's the example of like quick transition. Training's done, right into dad duty. About 7:15 to 8:15, I'm handling Jack. We're making breakfast. We got waffles, eggs, oatmeal. We're fueling up well. And then at around 8:15 is when my wife was up and she was gonna take over. And so right away, it's like 8:15, pass off the kiddo and right into business stuff. And this morning, right here, what I'm doing inside of Tribal is a handful of athlete check-ins, checking in on some training plans, making a couple of adjustments for guys. We have a few guys prepping for a backyard ultra right now, and so we're making sure that the plan is really tight and they're feeling really good on what they can do with their schedule, stuff like that. Coming up here in about 20 minutes, I'm gonna jump on my bike and I'm gonna bang out a 90-minute endurance ride before I've got my first call of the day today at 11. It's like, I'm not just training in the morning and then working all day and then dad duty at this time and then doing whatever in the evening. It's like this constant blend of training for these 90 minutes, working for 90 minutes or 2 hours, dad duty for an hour maybe in the middle of the day, and then kind of mixing between these things. And as long as my transitions are tight, that allows all of it to work. But I'll tell you, I've had times where it's like I've got a call end at 1:30 and I've got nothing else going on until 2, and I just start scrolling around and I'm looking at my phone, and next thing I know, I like look at the clock and it's like 1:57 and like nearly half an hour just vanished. So many guys have opportunity to tighten up those transitions in life and to kill all the dead time. And that is where I have found the space for Ironman training gets revealed. Now, for my first 3 Ironmans, I worked a normal job and I did not have a kid. And so some of the strategies that worked really well for me then laid the foundation for what ended up letting me do this stuff for many years to come. And so for that first Ironman, I was working in office in a corporate sales job, and I prioritized all my training in the morning. It gave me so much confidence and personal power to show up to the office having swam, bike, or ran, doing things, pushing my body, pushing my mind, and then I show up in this environment where so many of my corporate coworkers are just living kind of normal lives. And that might have been what they wanted. That was not what I wanted. I wanted to shake things up. I wanted something big. I wanted to set my life on a different trajectory. And every single day, I was seeing like, dude, you're doing it. Dude, you are separating yourself. Dude, you are sending yourself down a different path in life, one that is so much more exciting. And I just kept leaning into that. Now, my second and third Ironmans, I did those when I was working a remote corporate sales job. And the real hacks then, they really shifted my mindset, because for those second and third Ironmans, I started to wield a lot more freedom in my life. I started to realize, what are the most important metrics for me to check off at work? And once I've got that taken care of, I'm not afraid to go ride my bike for 90 minutes in the middle of the day. I'm not afraid to go run if I've got a block between meetings. I'm taking care of the business stuff that I've got to get sorted. I know I'm being measured on that. But outside of that, like, I'm opting out of the corporate politics game where I gotta be online 24/7. I gotta keep my Skype doc green. Like, to me, I had enough confidence by then that I was just like, dude, I know how to sell. I know how to hit my numbers that I'm being measured by so I can be successful in my job. But outside of that, like, you don't own me. Like, I got my own goals. And I'm not afraid to go take time for myself to go hit those things. And so if you are somebody in a corporate gig, don't just wait to be an entrepreneur to figure out how to fit an Ironman in your life. Very often, what I actually see with my athletes is that the structure that a corporate gig provides can usually make it really obvious where training can plug in. So much about doing an Ironman is about being not afraid to wield that freedom in life and opt out of the little corporate politics games that so many people just sit around doing nothing in.
So, talking about wielding freedom and opting out of other games in life, I remember back when I was first getting into endurance, it was COVID, and I had this hardo sales manager, and he was making us do these 8 a.m. team meetings on Zoom that were basically these babysitting sessions for the people on my team who were not cutting it. So I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, man? These 8 a.m. sessions, I'm getting pissed, I'm getting rattled. And then I realized, like, dude, don't let these things fucking dominate you, man. Take back your fucking power. And so one morning, I decided to get up and go run 15 miles before this 8 a.m. Zoom meeting. It was the farthest I had ever run. I did it as a 7.5 mile out and back. Didn't want to give myself any outs, any ways to quit. And I remember getting back, running 15 miles, catching sunrise, sitting on that meeting knowing that half my team just rolled out of bed 2 minutes ago. And I just thought to myself, holy shit, man, nobody can stop me. Nobody can fucking stop me from taking on whatever I want in life. And it made me realize, oh man, all the reasons that I've fallen short before, I was the only thing getting in my way. I was the only thing getting in my way. And now that I realize that, nothing is gonna stop me.
All right, we got a long run coming up here in a little bit, but we are getting some business work out of the way and figured it might be neat to share with you guys my little work setup here. So I am a huge fan of big ass tables as my desk. And in the spring and summer, I like to be outside here. We got this picnic table at Home Depot, $129, a couple bucks for some stain. And it has been a huge unlock for my workspace. We got a big kitchen table that I work at in the morning in the winter when I get up early. I like to work from, 5:30 to 7 or whatever when my kiddo gets up. And then I got the Tribal HQ garage set up. But I use that mostly for team calls or if I'm presenting anything. I got a cool background in there. In HQ, I did the back wall as a chalkboard wall. They've got this chalkboard paint at Home Depot. So I painted it chalkboard black and then got to draw and put a mural on it. So I kind of bounce around between these different spots, but I really like to have a lot of open space. There's not a lot of open space in HQ. That standing desk is kind of small. And what I'm getting into today, so I got a couple athletes coming into town for a trail festival. We are doing Tribal Trail Fest on Friday and Saturday this week. And so I was just mapping out a little bit about what we're going to specifically get into. And I've also got a couple of my just kind of like morning writing books and studies over here. So I really like to have just like a lot of books around me. I feel like it just helps me kind of consume and just absorb knowledge. And so I just picked up this book. My pastor recommended it. It's called Spiritual Leadership by Oswald Sanders. And I am really digging this thing so far. This is basically clarifying all of the leadership principles in the Bible. and it has a lot of Bible text directly referenced. But what I like is that it helps me interpret what's going on in the Bible. I got my Bible over here as well. My strategy on reading the Bible lately is sort of just sitting with one or two passages and not really trying to like just read through chapters of scripture. Then so right here, so I got some like, these are almost like art pads, and I find these really effective for just like writing out or doodling or sketching out ideas. And I got this more structured journal that I'll write in each morning. Each morning when I sit down, I track my weight in this thing, and then I will just do some morning pages. I'll write out some morning prayers, and that is pretty much the work setup here. Of course, got the cold brew locked in, got the electrolytes here ahead of this big run. What we've been doing this morning is checking in with a few athletes, and I'm putting out some running related content. So right now I have a Run Foundations cohort that's starting in August. And so a lot of the content that I'm creating is around running, run development, and helping people who have interest in running, helping them break through some of the early plateaus or early challenges, whether that is how to structure a run plan or how to break through injury, guys who have shin splints, guys who have Achilles problems. And so a lot of my writing right now is focused on that. So I just pumped something out, and that is giving people opportunity to join the program. It's a 4-week cohort, and that's going to give them a taste of tribal. We've had a few guys join so far, and I'm kind of blending that. I've run a couple of these cohorts before where I use these as ways to help bring people into tribal, and I've also used cohorts to direct all the existing tribal athletes towards the team races that we have going on. And this Run Foundations cohort is kind of a blend of the two, and so I'm going to bring people in, and I'm also going to pair them with the people who are prepping for Prairie on Fire Backyard Ultra. And so it's going to be kind of a combo of like, these are the fundamentals that we want to be focusing on, and then this is how we want to prepare for a race, and this is how we want to blend these two, because really executing races well is actually a lot more about mastering the fundamentals. So I'm excited at the chance to just see how this unfolds and see how we can help people both prepare for the race better, but then also bring people in who are maybe earlier in their endurance journey, earlier in their run journey, and just see how we can all level up together. Here's a tip on chasing one peak at a time. So right now I am sitting at about 178 pounds. I've been 178 steady for the past couple weeks, and I am in the thick of Ironman World Champs training. I am doing my biggest weeks of training of the whole year. Now, there's a part of me that would love to be a little bit leaner. I'm definitely feeling jacked up and strong, but sometimes I'm eating a ton and I'm like, oh my God, I could have a six-pack all day long if I just was a little bit leaner or a little bit lighter. But that would be looking to chase multiple peaks at once. That would be looking to be on top of the Ironman training mountain while also on top of the leanness and body composition mountain. And all of a sudden, if I'm on top of the leanness and body comp mountain, well, then all of a sudden my Ironman training is falling off. And my Ironman training is going really well right now. I'm recovering well from my workouts. I'm putting out really good pace, really good power. And that's a result of being very well fed. And so if you are out there trying to be your fastest, your leanest, your strongest all at once, don't be too surprised if nothing's really going well. You got to commit to whatever the main goal is, right? Main goal, Ironman training, Ironman World Champs. And listen, I ain't exactly fat, but there is part of my mind that's like, dude, you could be leaner. Instead of 178, what if you're 172? What if you were a little bit more chiseled down? Yeah, well, that would be 2 peaks at once, and the training wouldn't be going as well. 1 peak at a time. Keep the main thing, the main motherfucking thing. All right, I am about to give you the #1 cooking hack for Ironman prep. We got the rotisserie chicken locked in here in the Tupperware. Pan is heating up, and the spice mix that I'm about to use is going to change your world. But first, I got to tell you a little story. Less than 1 year ago, we had an athlete inside of Tribal, Phil Lee. And Phil Lee had done an Ironman. He'd been part of the team for a year. And he was sensing some of the entrepreneurial energy that's inside of Tribal. And Phil shares this idea. And he's like, listen,
I love making my own homemade spices. I put it on everything that I eat, and it makes it really easy for me to eat clean, do some meal prep that tastes really good. And I've got interest in starting a business and launching a side hustle and seeing if I can make my dreams and what I love my reality for my professional life. In the past 11 months, Phil has gone from putting together these little homemade blends where he's mixing up stuff in his kitchen, sending it out to guys on the team, to now having a full-on spice company with a manufacturer. He's got like 4 or 5 different blends, and he is very close to leaving his W-2. And not only do I love Phil's story on using endurance to cultivate the courage and the conviction to go chase your dreams, but these spices freaking rock. This is the 4-pepper blend that is so good on steak. This is ginger coffee, which I love doing on burgers. But today, we are going to use a little black market blend that he's got. This is Chattanooga QQ. This one is like a little smoky, a little spicy, and I freaking love it on rotisserie chicken that I reheat up. If you DM him, I bet he will send this out, but this is a little under the radar flavor that he brought to life just for the tribal team. And Phil and these spices, Anak Seasoning is the name of his biz. These have revolutionized my quick access, delicious cooking. Because listen, I love to eat, and I love to eat good food. And I ain't looking to compromise on the flavor of my food, even though that I want to eat quick, not waste a lot of time, and have food that fuels my training. So shout out to Phil, Anak Seasonings, AnakFlavors.com. This stuff is so legit.
So we got the rotisserie chicken searing up in the pan, and then we got a couple of corn tortillas, and we're just going super basic tacos here for lunch. Here's what we got for lunch. We got some of these tacos, a little bowl of the extra chicken that I whipped up. Now, one of the core elements of my endurance journey is endurance leading to entrepreneurship. And I believe that endurance done right should empower you to question where in life you may be settling. I got into endurance in 2019, and I expected to do 170.3 and be done with the sport. I had no vision beyond doing a 70.3. I just wanted to do something big and shake up my life. And 8 weeks into training, I broke my ankle playing a beer league ice hockey game. And so right away, I was kind of given an out on this goal that I had for myself. And instead of giving up on that goal, I stayed committed. Got surgery on my ankle, did all my rehab, and about 6 months after that ankle break, it hit me that that was one of the first times in my life that I did not bail on one of my commitments to myself. And that empowered me, man. That gave me a ton of confidence. And I had always wanted to start some kind of side hustle to pursue entrepreneurship, but I always felt scared to do it. I didn't really know how. And the process of getting into endurance, of starting training, of having a huge setback, but not letting that take me away from my commitment to this goal for myself, all of a sudden I was like, dude, I'm ready to start a business. I'm ready. And back in 2019, I started this dog bandana business where I was sewing dog bandanas in my house in Philly, selling them on Etsy, made an Instagram page, and that was my entry to entrepreneurship. And so I was starting to share online around what I was building in my dog bandana side hustle, and then I was sharing online related to my training. And over time, these two worlds of mine, this entrepreneurial world of dog bandanas and then this content world of sharing online, they started to intersect, and I went all in on sharing endurance content and building a business around endurance. Now, if you're somebody out there who has been interested in pursuing creative goals, of starting a side hustle, of building something for yourself and sharing your gifts with the world, I cannot encourage you enough to start documenting how you are living day to day. That was the unlock for me. And I didn't even have this grand vision of becoming an endurance coach. I couldn't even understand how I could help people. I was barely even doing it myself. But by sharing online and showing my process day to day, there were people that were just a little bit farther behind me on the journey that wanted to come learn from me. So shout out to Louis Rivolo and Brandon Luttrell. They were the first two guys that hit me up asking for help and wanting to learn from me in endurance. And those two guys, they opened up this belief in me that I could help them. And as I started to coach them and help them, and we started to take on races together, that opened up this whole world of expanding my coaching services and building a business around the things that I had come to fall in love with in my own life. And so because all of that, and because of how much I love to create and build and make things and share what I like with the world, there is a huge energy inside of Tribal that encourages guys to start doing that themselves. We have some systems to help guys learn how to write. We've had like 15 athletes in the past year start writing online, tweeting, writing on Substack. We've had a bunch of athletes launch podcasts, launch YouTube channels. Then we've got guys like Phil who have started physical product businesses. And so one of the tricky parts about Tribal is that you get into Tribal and you start to think, oh, I'm doing this Ironman, this is the huge thing. And then you get around people that are like, yeah, but what do you like really want to do? What do you like really want to share with the world? Like doing Ironman is important. This is going to train us up and we got to exercise a lot of discipline and courage and conviction and learn to flex with life. But like, what are the creative interests that you have? What do you want to be building? What's that like calling on your heart that's like, could I do that? Could I start that business? Could I start coaching people? And so if you are out there and if you've watched enough of these videos yet, I'm asking you, what do you want to build? How can the skills of endurance apply to your creative pursuits, your entrepreneurial passions, your thoughts that might just be sprinkling out this idea of like, man, I wonder if I could do that. If you are asking yourself that, you are already on your way and you got to just keep going. Keep sharing, keep believing in yourself. I got to get back to this lunch. Let's go.